When you are a clinician, I know that you have very little to no time to spend on marketing. In a typical day, you've got appointments, you've got notes, you've got people to call back, you've got insurance to bill, you've got clients or patients to bill, and people to manage. There are so many things on your list that you're already not getting done. And the same holds true for your team if you have one. So, how are you supposed to add marketing your practice to your list? You don't. The secret to staying consistent in your marketing as a busy clinician is that you build it into the work that you're already doing. You don't add it to your already very full list, and you don't take time out of your busy schedule in order to scroll on Facebook. You build it into the day-to-day work that you are already doing with your patients and clients. So let me explain. You've already got all the content that you need in order to stay consistent on social media. Every time you go into an appointment with a patient or a client, they're asking you questions and you are offering your expertise as answers. You're doing this all day long. Every time you do that, that is a piece of advice that can be turned into content. You're solving a problem that they have. They're telling you the problems they have. You are solving it and offering a solution. You might even be letting them know what their life can look like once that problem is solved. All of this resonates on social media. So the goal is not to create content on top of all those appointments that are keeping you busy. It's to take what you're doing there and make that content. So here are a few ways that you can do that. The first is if you're in a setting where this would work, and I do know physicians who do this. This wouldn't work in a mental health setting, but it definitely would work in other settings where if someone asks you a frequently asked question that's not at all private or personal, it's something that is a challenge that many people deal with. Just asking your opinion, your expertise about a problem that pretty much everybody or a lot of people have, and you answer that. You might feel comfortable saying to the person you're talking to, would you mind if I record my response to this? I won't share it anywhere, right? And now you've got a recording of how you answered a frequently asked question. Now, obviously, you're not going to share that whole conversation on social media, but you can take that recording and turn that into a piece of content. You can get it transcribed for very inexpensively on Rev or Descript or some other software, and you can turn that into a social media post. You could hand that over to someone on your team or even a virtual assistant who can create social media content out of that one frequently asked question. You answer questions like this all day long. Every single day could be multiple posts. So that is a great way to do that, is to record your answer as you're talking to someone. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you might be having telehealth where you could record an answer there. And again, obviously you're not going to do anything that would be a HIPAA violation, but just your response to a frequently asked question, that is something that you could then recycle into a piece of content. Now, if that's something that you don't feel comfortable doing when you're actually working with someone, what you could do is later in the day, just record a few of the answers that you gave to questions that you think a lot of other people will have. And again, you could have that transcribed and you could turn that into content, or someone else on your team could do that. Another shortcut, if you are comfortable, and if you do this enough times, you will get comfortable, because I've even seen introverts get comfortable, but it's just to hold up your phone and answer the question live. The reason I recommend doing it live is because live is fast. It's not meant to be perfect. And once you get comfortable going live and answering questions very quickly, then it's an easy way to create content. So you can go live on Instagram, you could do this on Facebook, and you can even do this now on LinkedIn, where you're just quickly answering questions. No one expects those kinds of videos to be perfect. And once you've done this a lot, they're really simple and can be a time-saving way to still show up consistently on social media as the expert that you are. And the last way to create content in a much faster way as a busy clinician is to never start from scratch. Ways to never start from scratch would be to have fill in the blank captions like I offer in the Clinicians Social Media Club. And there are others who offer these as well. I believe mine is the only one that's written and designed for clinicians. But having a template where you are not starting from scratch to just write something, but you're filling in the blanks on a caption is going to make that so much easier. The same goes for any designs that you would create in Canva in order to have an image to go with your caption. Never start those from scratch. You can waste a ton of time, or someone on your team can waste a lot of time starting from scratch in Canva. So I always recommend starting from templates. I have templates that are in the Clinicians Social Media Club that match up with the captions. I send those out monthly. It's a monthly membership. Definitely check it out if that's something that you need in order to save time. So just to review, some ways to save time and still be able to stay consistent on social media as a clinician would be to record the responses to frequently asked questions that you're already offering all the time throughout your day. You could do this in person when you're actually talking to someone, or perhaps if you're on a telehealth call. You could have your nurse triage team, if you have a team who answers questions and they're answering frequently asked questions, you could have them record their responses to those kinds of questions that aren't personal. And you also could just record a voice memo and hand that over to someone on your team or get that transcribed. So I hope that helped, and definitely reach out if you have questions.